Coming up on Outdoor Oklahoma.
2-ounce hair jig that I'm using, but that is a Lake Eufaula summertime stud muffin right there.
Now, people also talk about using the belly meat. Now, this is another hot topic because there are people that are like pro belly meat. That's the best meat on the fish.
Good job, baby. Much flavor that comes out of that first bite. You get that rosemary right off the top. Oh, you got him! You got him, Emily!
Oh! Nice mess of blue cat we have right there.
Ready.
Now folks, this is what we're after. This is what you get in Outdoor Oklahoma.
Outdoor Oklahoma is brought to you by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation, sharing the beauty, the adventure, and the spirit of Oklahoma's wild places.
So we're on Lake Eufaula here. We're on the southern end of the lake by Bug Tussle area. So right now we have a 9-foot flood. I think we're at 9 1/4 above normal. There's still more water coming in than what's being released, and it does make it difficult, but it doesn't make it impossible. You can go out and catch fish. We're gonna go out to some main lake points, rock points, go find some structure. And once we find those areas, there'll be some fish on them, and we'll see how they're gonna eat. First drop is always important. You don't want to be you want to make it a good presentation. Make a good presentation. Let them see it. Just like that, get a good quality eater, about a 110 fish, perfectly good eater. Definitely post spawn. I mean, everything's gonna be spawned out we catch, and there's several more of them sitting right there together. We'll catch another one. So once the summertime pattern gets here, these fish really get close to timber, any trees that are down, lay downs, you know. They want to get that shade also that we want from the sun. Another good summertime fish. Nothing too big, just a good quality eater. And down here on the south end of the lake, we catch a whole bunch of white crappie, white perch, white sockeye, whatever you want to call it. If you go into the mid-lake northern area, you can go catch black crappie. On the southern end, there is a few blacks every once in a while. That seem like they are starting to migrate a little bit. But overall, the south end has just an absolute bunch of white crappie down here. My biggest crappie on Eufaula is a 298, so I was just off of a 3-pounder. Clients, I've had several in the 290 range. We haven't broke the 3, but there's been several 3s caught out of Eufaula and on the south end of the lake as well. So they're definitely out here to catch. Summertime, you're not going to catch one that big just because of its post spawn, and they don't have the big belly on them. We just had the mayfly hatch. We had a late shad spawn. So all the rocky points have mayfly hatch. You know, the mayflies have died and they went up there on the rocks. The shad the same way. So all these main lake points with rocks, all of them with the structure around them, is where your fish are going to be at in the summertime. Because of our late time is the only reason why we're really hitting the rock points. Mainly in the summertime, you're going to hit just timber. You know, the fish want the shade, but at the same time they want to eat. And so the easy meal is the shad and the mayflies right now. Good quality eater right there. So Eufaula is gigantic. You know, it's a huge lake. So crappie fishing wise, I normally go, any lake you go to, I go as far away from the dam as I can go to. And I try to find the dirtiest water because that's where your crappie are gonna hide at. That's where they're gonna be bigger, and they're not going to be as spooky because they're in dirtier water. If you go to the up by the dam, it's clear water, and they're going to be, you know, definitely more spooky. So then once I get there and I know what time of year it is that we're going to be looking for fish, if it was to go out right now, I'm going to go out and I'm going to hit all those summertime spots. I'm going to go look for a main lake point. I'm going to go look for a rock point. So like right now I'm in between two points. They're not far apart from each other, so these fish are right here in between them, just going back and forth and bedding down on these structures. Very rarely would you see me fishing by a dam trying to catch crappie. If it's a small lake, I'll fish by the dam to go see what's over there. You know, if it's got a main channel that runs through it in the springtime or something, you know, most dams are going to be all cleared off, so you're not going to have a bunch of structure around it. So I'm going to avoid that area at all costs in the summertime. And I'm going to go way far away. Even in the spring, you go to the creeks and, you know, go find where the crappie are then. You know, pre-spawn and they're looking to get fat out there feeding. You know, you go hit the secondary channels on the main lake, or head on into the creeks, you know, because they're in transition period. But summertime right now is definitely hit the main lake points, hit the rock points, and obviously anywhere you find structure, trees. And with it being flooded, you actually have some new stuff that's the fish aren't accustomed to. I say not accustomed to. They're not used to being in it because it's normally where they can't be at. Because the lake's flooded doesn't mean you can't catch fish. The fish are going to still be in the same areas as what they were going to be prior to the flood. If it was a normal summer, they're still going to be around, you know, the rock points catching the mayfly and the shad. They're still going to be on the structures getting that shade and you know, and staying cool. They're not going to be out running around chasing bait around. That's not what they're going to be doing. They're going to be up chilling, hanging out. It's hot outside. They don't want to work too hard. So summertime fish, they're not going to want a big bait. You know, in the springtime, you're going to get away with using that bigger bait. Right now I'm using just a 32nd ounce hand tie and then using a 1/4 ounce weight above it just to help get it down there. And with this water being a little clearer than what it normally is, I'm using a 10-pound fluoro, and that just helps us catch fish. And we got a good one right here in front of us. Let's see if we can catch it. See it. Anybody can come out here and catch fish. Forward-facing sonar saves you some time fishing an area that there may not be no fish in, but if you don't have a forward-facing sonar, you can go on Lake Eufaula, go in 12 to 14, 15 foot of water, grab your 2 poles, 2 pole stroll, drop them down, let them touch the bottom, pull them back up. You know, you've about 5 feet or so, and just keep on working about 1.5 miles an hour, and you go to those main lake rock points, and there's gonna be fish around them. So I like the longer rods for live scoping, just because you can get away from the boat, you know, a little bit from looking at 4 feet away to, if you're using a 7-foot bass rod, you're gonna have to cast to them, which with the water being clear, you know, we can do that, but these are fish are all just sitting still, and the best presentation you can make it is with the longer rod, and I can drop right where I want to, and 3, 2, 1. So that was just 100% the rod. Perfect presentation. I mean, it's another 110, 120 fish, perfectly good eater. There's a ton of fish on Eufaula. It's 105,000 acres of water. There's fish, I've caught fish on the furthest north point of the lake. I've caught crappie on the furthest south point of the lake. I've caught them in the mid-lake. I've caught literally every direction on this lake. I've caught fish. Do I say that there's an overabundance of fish? There's not an overabundance, but Eufaula, for the quality of fish and the quantity of fish, this is the best place in the state. And in my personal opinion, I've fished all over the country in national tournaments, and this is the top 3 lake in the nation. Here he comes. That's a good fish. That's definitely our biggest one of the day. Yeah, that's a stud. So we caught our biggest fish of the day so far. Solid 170-ish. I mean, he's maybe even a little bit bigger. I mean, perfectly good hook set. Like I said, that's a 32nd ounce hair jig that I'm using, but that is a Lake Eufaula summertime stud muffin right there. All right, so we're gonna let that one go. She's a beauty. I'm gonna let her go on back.
Hey everybody, my name is Jacob Tyson, the host of Real Talk, Real Tips, a YouTube series where we share insights and tips on fishing right here in Oklahoma. Check out one of our recent episodes right now.
I feel like, and you can ask my buddies, they'll be like, what's the hardest thing about jug lining? It's getting the bait. I feel like half the time we spend more time getting the bait than anything else.
Casting it off the front of the boat.
If you can,
Yeah.
you know, if you've got a good boat to do that and go and know where the fish, the shad are and all that stuff. If you're good at it, then that's fantastic. You know, there's always a lot of problems with collecting bait, because if you're on a lake that is bait limited,
Yeah.
you're like, what am I going to do? You really don't want to. You can bring outside bait. That's legal. Should you do it? Not necessarily. We've had invasive species introduced from that.
Yeah.
People using.
So you're talking live bait right now, right?
Yeah, I'm talking live bait, but just limiting those opportunities.
Right.
You know, if I'm using dead bait, okay, it's dead. We should be fine, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Don't transfer bait from one lake to another, please.
Never.
Please, we beg you, and it's illegal. So
please don't. I will. Shad. I mean, shad is just the best. I fresh shad. I personally love blue cats. Okay, you know, people will rank out their catfish,
right?
And you know, flatheads people love flatheads. Oh, that's the best fish. Our the technician that in the North Central region, he's a flathead dude, and everything to him is bait.
Right.
You know, we're pulling up anything. He's like, let's put a hook on that. I'm like, we're working here. Come on. But he's always thinking about flatheads.
Right.
For me, I just like the blues.
Right.
I think the blues, they get bigger.
Yeah.
They're pretty.
You know, they're pretty. Flatheads in clear water are very pretty, and I think they're great fish. Now, and then there's people that, well, I go and catch channels, and I love channels, and that's all well and good. It's, you know, I release channels because I'm just a snob in that sense.
Wow.
Turned his nose up.
No, thank you. Release that channel. Let somebody else have that one. I just want those blues. But, you know, you're also sharing an aggregate limit.
Right.
You've got 15, you know.
It's reducing your blues.
Yeah. How's the fishing that day? Is it,
Dude,
we're only catching.
If you're releasing channel cats, dude, you're having a heck of a day.
Right. You know, you should be. No, so personally, I'm targeting the blues.
Right. So you're going to stick more to cut shad or
so
shad?
fresh cut shad.
Okay.
Now, the shad issue is really funny because people have all their superstitions. I'm not a tail dude. I'm like, pitch them tails. And
really?
Yeah, no, people are like, oh no, pitch the heads. The heads are the worst. I'm like, heads are the best. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So
use it all.
Use it all. Don't waste it.
Well, how much bait do you have? Do you have enough bait where you don't need the tails? Because
That's
I'll
true.
just
That's true.
You know, chum a little bit.
Yeah.
But if I don't have enough, I'm like, whoa, okay, let's keep everything. And if we have to use tails, we'll use tails. Now, fresh bait is the best.
So let me ask you this. How do you go about catching shad?
Personally, with a cast net.
Well, right. But like, what are you looking for area wise? Like, are you
areas? So
I say I want to go catch shad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where am I going? What am I looking for?
You're on a search.
Yeah.
I know I'm being difficult.
You want areas that would concentrate them. So a lot of times, depending upon season, you know, in the wintertime, I'm looking for deeper areas off a bridge.
Okay.
You know, they may be in the channel.
Right.
In the summer, a lot of people go out in their boat right at sunrise. A lot of guides do this, and you can see those shad doing their spawning activity, and you'll see them flipping on the at the shore, spawning, and you cast right there, get a bunch of shad. So there are good, easy ways to do that.
Right.
The hunt for bait can always be a problem,
for sure.
And so going from that, I prefer shad. I don't like the bag shad that you get. I don't, you know, frozen shad ends up breaking down. I really want that fresh shad. And if you catch it and you're like, I caught it today, but I need it tomorrow, you know, put it in a bag and put it on ice, but have it like covered. So like ice, towel, bag,
ice.
Maybe a little bit of ice, not much. You can also put a little salt on it. It'll keep it firm.
Oh.
You really want to keep the oils.
Yes,
the oils are what kind of spread through the water and attract the catfish.
So the other things that I found worked really well, common carp.
Okay.
Common carp you could cut up and leave the skin on, and nothing can really pull that off. And they are very tough. Oily.
Yeah.
And they're one of the few fish. I had a buddy back in college that swore by them.
Yeah.
Did well with them. He goes, they're the only fish that you can throw into the freezer and they'll retain their oils. I don't know how true this is. It's how it felt.
Yeah.
But he would, if he ever got to the point, I can't even get shad, you know, pull out one of these carp and cut it up, and he'd do well on that.
Huh.
So he was doing stuff with his masters, looking at actually jug-lining for catfish.
Oh, that's cool,
and,
masters.
Yeah. And
all right,
so
you're not allowed to talk, Miss Alligator Girl.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to.
So, but he would throw common carp on there to be able to catch it. Now, people, when we had the PRC, the Paddlefish Research Center, if nobody knows that, people would come up and get paddlefish liver from us and use that. And the catfishermen up there at Grand loved that.
So
That's pretty
we've
cool.
talked about the PRC back on episode 2, I think, with Nels Rodefeld, just in case you want more info on that. But continue.
I love this citation.
Yeah, we gotta get him in there.
Go back to this previous episode. Let's up them views.
Go ahead and like and subscribe while you're at it. We really. Anywho,
Now, then you can get into the more obscure things.
Right.
People are like, at least we have hot dogs.
yeah, you're
At
right.
least we have hot dogs. Now, I've also had an old, and I don't know, he may get mad at me saying this, but I don't. I'm
It's
sure he
fine.
wouldn't care.
Just go for it.
You start hearing about really crazy things.
I've got one.
I've
got one.
Okay, what's yours?
So I go to Walmart. Okay, you can buy chicken liver in a container at Walmart.
Yeah.
And I go and buy black cherry Kool-Aid.
I've heard of this.
And I dump like 2 or 3 packs
heard of this.
black cherry Kool-Aid in there.
Yeah.
And I let it sit for
Yeah.
about a night and
Yeah.
really soak up.
Yeah.
And that's what, and dude, I'll slam
It
them.
does work.
Okay, same thing,
It works.
Kool-Aid is
but you
like,
use chicken breasts.
okay.
Oh.
Okay. So use chicken breasts. Now you're getting expensive bait. here.
Right.
But Kool-Aid, strawberry, whatever.
Right.
Right. And let it, I've heard Jell-O mix.
Oh, I've
Okay.
heard that one too.
Yeah.
and you let it
anything that
sit.
just like gets that smell,
Yeah,
like something
on it.
really
Yeah.
strong
That's
smelling.
why
So-
catfish are so fun.
Yeah.
And then I've heard people are like, oh yeah, if we have to. Now people also talk about using the belly meat. Now, this is another hot topic because there are people that are like pro belly meat. That's the best meat on the fish.
Right.
And people that are anti belly meat.
Okay.
I personally don't like belly meat. I
Right.
recognize that people like it, and that's all well and good. But on those smaller fish that there's not enough belly meat to keep. I've seen people keep that belly meat and use that as bait if they can't get bait, because that'll freeze well, and it has that silver skin on the inside, the
Right.
normal
Yeah.
skin on the outside, so it stays
Uphold.
on the hook.
Yeah.
And that's really the
Nice.
main thing. If you're wanting bait that'll last, because if you can't get a hold of it, you need it in the freezer so you have
Right.
extra. That stuff will hold and you can use it.
That's
Stay
the
on hook
one
well.
negative of chicken liver is that
Oh, yeah,
it's kind of
The
soft.
shad's the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, all of this talk right here has been basically looking at your channels and blues, right?
Right.
So if you're jugging for flatheads, you need to have live bait.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're looking at
Tend to
green
need
sunfish.
be fishing deeper, right? You want to be fishing like kind of off the bottom.
I mean, yes, but not necessarily.
Okay.
We'll find flatheads in open water when we're sampling them. And it's
Okay.
40 foot deep, and there's no oxygen down there, and you're like,
Really?
you're just swimming around in the water column.
tough.
Yeah.
So they're tough.
That's funny.
World record breath holders.
Right.
Thanks for watching that clip from Real Talk Real Tips. If you'd like to see the full episode, head on over to our YouTube channel at Outdoor Oklahoma. There you can find all of our past conversations with Oklahoma's finest anglers and experts. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll see you next time.
Outdoor Oklahoma is produced by the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife Conservation and is proud to serve and be funded entirely by sportsmen and women and outdoor enthusiasts who love and appreciate all things wild in the great state of Oklahoma. Connect with us online on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. Want to know more about the Wildlife Department? Visit us at wildlifedepartment.com. Thanks for watching.